So this was originally going to be a video about how my excitement was growing for the Batman 2 after some recent developments. Well, that excitement quickly disappeared when I realized that there's a good chance I would be watching that movie on Netflix and not in theaters. Life comes at you pretty fast. Unfortunately, let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So Netflix has officially announced its acquisition of Warner Brothers for an estimated $82.7 billion. They have entered into a definitive agreement under which Netflix will acquire the studio, including its film and TV divisions, HBO Max and HBO. And it was on this day in the year 2025 that a big piece of my cinematic soul has died.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Now, the official word coming out of Netflix is that not a whole lot is going to change, at least initially, other than the top leadership. Netflix would have you believe that it's going to be business as usual as it pertains to how WB creates content and releases it, but we all know the truth, now don't we? Now, I'm going to warn you, you're going to see a lot of reactions over the next few days from certain YouTube channels, from certain social media personalities, and from certain talking heads about how this acquisition is a great thing, and we're already starting to see that happen before the ink is even dry on the deal. But I would caution all of you to not really buy too much into those reactions because they have already proven to be pretty short-sighted and frankly narrative-driven. I come to you today as an honest man and as a lover of cinema, and I have to be brutally honest with you, a deal like this is rarely ever good for anyone.
It's true.
You see, a lot of people are happy with this news because they think they are going to finally get what they want in regards to cape nonsense. But I cannot stress this enough, a merger of this magnitude is rarely a good thing when talking about the big picture in regards to the industry that it takes place in. This to me is even worse than the Disney acquisition of 20th Century Fox, which was egregious, because of what it could potentially mean as it pertains to how entertainment is produced and consumed by the public. I don't know who needs to hear this, but there is more to life than comic book movies, and to praise a sale like this simply because of something as insignificant as my superhero movies is incredibly short-sighted. The people who are reacting that way are doing so because they're not thinking about all of the negative impacts that this could cause. I've actually heard people talk about in the last 24 hours how a deal like this could save the industry creatively.
You serious?
I mean, are we talking about the same Netflix here? John Flickinger said it best on X. Can't wait to see what they do with all the great WB and DC IPs from the studio that brought you such classics as The Atom Project, Six Underground, Red Notice, Project Power, and The Electric State. Hashtag Netflix. How can anyone look at the bulk of Netflix's original films and be excited about the prospect of them owning a major film studio? Now, I've given them credit in the past for supplying some legendary filmmakers like Martin Scorsese and Guillermo del Toro with the opportunity to make films that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to. But those instances are few and far between, and outside of those projects and a handful of original shows, Netflix's output and content has largely been dog shit from a quality perspective.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
We are talking about a company who is quite literally willing to greenlight anything because they are taking a quantity over quality approach to justify their rising subscription fees. And make no mistake about it, you can expect even more price hikes after a purchase like this, because Netflix is going to do what's best for Netflix. The truth is that Netflix has never been a platform that was built on quality. Most of its success is the result of convenience. And there are some lazy, brain-dead consumers out there who are none the wiser as they scroll on their phone not even paying attention to what they are watching. I love it when people complain about the theater experience and talk about people constantly being on their phone while they're trying to watch a movie, not really acknowledging that these people were programmed to not be able to watch anything without looking at their phone by sitting on their asses watching Netflix.
and I'm tired of being right.
That is largely the audience who Netflix is making content for, and to their credit, it's working for them. But it doesn't work for someone like me, because someone like me actually cares about the quality of the thing that I am watching. To me, Netflix is just basically Disney for the people who don't even put in the effort and just stay in their house. But sure, tell me how they're going to change the game and save the entertainment industry. Give me a f***ing break. You know the other part of this that I find incredibly amusing? A lot of the same people who have been pounding their chest saying that Zaslav ruined everything for the past few years are now praising the Netflix purchase like he himself wasn't directly involved with the decision. I see this as an absolute win for the person that everyone tells me is really bad at his job. I guess you either die a villain or live long enough to see yourself become the hero. Is that what I'm supposed to take from these reactions? I also find it amusing that a lot of people are pointing to the fact that Netflix made some deal with AMC, and that the finale of Stranger Things is going to be released in theaters as proof that Netflix is willing to embrace a more theater-friendly model. What we are talking about in both of these scenarios is most likely small, 2-week at best theatrical windows that will do absolutely nothing to help the theaters themselves and will most likely hurt the profitability of the films themselves in the process, if they even follow through with this plan. Films to Film said it best, quote, "Selling one of the most iconic Hollywood studios to a guy who thinks theaters are outdated is the biggest stupidity Zaslav has ever done. Sandoz doesn't give a shit about theatrical releases." We are talking about a company who only really releases their films in theaters because they are obligated to qualify for award shows. I find it very hard to believe that a company is going to change its whole philosophy when they have shown little interest in changing in the past.
That makes sense.
Furthermore, this is also potentially catastrophic for anyone who values physical media like I do. Can anyone tell me how often Netflix releases content on physical media? The answer is not much. Effectively further damaging an already disappearing additional revenue stream for struggling films, and leaving consumers everywhere at the mercy of Netflix, who can add, remove, and alter content, past, present, and future, as they see fit. But tell me once again how this purchase is great for everyone. People really do think that we are escaping the dysfunction at WB and at Hollywood in general by Netflix taking control. But this to me is an extension of that dysfunction, the next unfortunate step in the death of creativity. Do not let the fanboys and talking heads gaslight you into believing that this is a good thing. The only one who wins in this situation is Zaslav and Netflix themselves.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Netflix has never changed anything for the better. What they have done is make consumers more lazy and more willing to be accepting of mediocrity. And some of the reactions I'm seeing to this news is undeniable proof of that. I'm going to be very clear, I don't give a fuck about the future of DC in any capacity, or any other singular property for that matter, if it means companies further monopolizing the industry. If you value variety in your entertainment, if you value artistic integrity in your entertainment, hell, if you value quality in your entertainment on a grander scale, then you should be as concerned about this as I am. If you are advocating for this purchase without thinking for yourself, without looking at the bigger picture, the whole picture, then you are part of the problem. You are the reason that acquisitions like this happen, because instead of demanding better, instead of demanding what's right, you just want what's easy. And to me, that is ultimately not going to get us what we should all want, and that's the best entertainment landscape possible.
Y'all be cool. Right on.